Welcome to the High School Huddle on the Dodge Sports Desk at Opubco Studios. My name is Brandon Chatmon. I'm joined by Ryan Aber. He's the lead prep writer for the Oklahoman. And last weekend wrapped up some of the most exciting non-district schedules in recent years, so there's plenty to talk about. Ryan, the Midwest City Bombers have been dominant this season. Do you expect them to go undefeated, and who do you feel like will be their biggest obstacle?
Yeah, I think their biggest obstacle right now is going to come in the first round of the playoffs, because I don't think any team in that district has either the athletes or the talent to hang with the Bombers. Certainly, PC is down from where they were a year ago when those two teams met at the end of the season, both being undefeated. And I really don't see a team that's going to give the Bombers much of a challenge until they get that first round of the playoffs. And then they're going to face a pretty stiff competition, because they're going to face probably either Mustang, Edmond Santa Fe, or Putnam North, which is a tough teams to face when you win a district and you have to play a fourth place team from the opposite district.
All right. Well, what team in any class do you feel like is quietly cruising under the radar, but will be a team to keep an eye on as the playoffs come?
Well, I think you look at the teams that had really tough non-district schedules and maybe got battered around a little bit. Teams like Owasso, who played 3 really tough games, came out 0-3, but I still believe they're one of the top 10 teams in 6A. I think most people do as well. Jacquez Washington, the big lineman that they have. Also Bixby, who went up and played 6A Jinx, got beat around a little bit early, has had some injury problems, but you figure by the end of the season they'll be on a roll once again to be one of the top teams in 5A. Looking down in classes a little bit, you look at a team like Davis, who's done much the same thing, played a really tough schedule that included some opponents who were maybe a class or two above them, and they sort of got battered around a little bit the last couple weeks. I think that they'll get back in a groove in district play and end up being all right once the playoffs come around.
Okay. Well, Cashin's Caden Cochran earned Player of the Week honors with his 4-touchdown performance in a win over Crescent this week. NewsOK.com's Justin Harper spoke with Cochran about his outstanding game.
Third game is against Crescent. It's a town just down the road a little bit, and you've mentioned kids that you've played against in basketball and other sports since 3rd grade, and they've always, kind of teased you guys about, when you're going to come up and play us. Yeah. Well, you come up and play them, and not only play them, you beat them. What was that like for you?
It's amazing because, like you said, just playing kids playing kids that played on Cash's team in elementary, and then, would move to Crescent and play. It felt good because, I've got friends that, I've known since kindergarten. We play Crescent every year, and it was just amazing to come out here, fight for 4 quarters. They didn't have the lead one time in the game. It never gives up. It felt amazing.
You've been to these camps in the summer where you have gone against and competed with kids who are going to go, committed to Division I schools or stuff like that, and you fared well against them?
Yeah, just size of school, I guess, is a big deal. Kids from, 6A, 5A, and 4A schools that, just go out and, I'm either, I'm with them or, better than them at camps, perform better, and, they're out committing. It's just, just going to have to prove it, I guess. That's the only thing I can think of.
Sure.
So, it's something I'm going to have to do.
Well, he's done what he can on the field so far. We'll see how it continues. Thanks, Caden, and congratulations for being the State Player of the Week.
Thanks.
We're back at the Dodge Sport Desk, and it's time to look ahead to this week. Putnam North visits Norman North on Friday. Ryan, what do you feel like will be the key to that game?
Well, I think the key to that game is Putnam North's rush offense versus Norman North's rush defense. Last year, that was really the turning point. Norman North just completely shut down North's rushing offense, held them to 14 yards rushing. North couldn't pass the ball nearly as effectively as they needed to be able to stick in that game. This year, North's passing game is even less. They've really struggled with that, so they're going to have to get yards out of Josh Booker and Greg Lewis, those big guys on the ground, to be able to even keep this game close.
Okay. Do you think that game will be a battle, or is it going to be a blowout?
I've watched both of these teams the last couple of weeks. Putnam North took a while to get in the groove last week against Choctaw. Mm-hmm. They did blow that game out in the second half, but it concerns me that they're not able to pass the ball at all. I think they're going to have to at least keep Norman North's offense or defense honest in order to keep that tight, and I'm not sure I see that happening.
All right. And what other games this week are you kind of looking forward to see what the outcome will be?
Well, I think the big one for me is another 6A game. We had talked earlier about Owasso and the schedule that they played. They came out 0-3, but they start district play at Enid. Enid has played really well. Talked to some people at Enid last night, and they feel like this could be the first time that Clint Shelf's speed, their quarterback who's committed to Tulsa, his speed, they really feel like this is going to make a difference in the game on Friday night at Enid. And it'll be interesting to see how Owasso's defense reacts to that.
All right. Well, Ryan, we appreciate your expertise. Thanks for watching the High School Huddle. We'll be back next week on the Dodge Sports Desk as we review the first week of district play.
Let's see it.